In 2025 and moving forward, it's your ad creative that dictates whether or not you're able to run profitable and successful ads. I've been running ads for about 7 years now. We've worked with over 500 clients, helping them build and scale stores to over hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can see the results on the screen right now. And with experience, I can tell you the creative that you run is more important than anything else. It's more important than your ad interest, the ad placement, any other metric when it comes to running ads. Your creative in 2025 and moving forward is what's going to make or break the success of your ads, which is why it's very important that you have a proper ad creative testing strategy in place so you can keep finding winning ad creatives. And that is exactly what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to show you exact step-by-step ad creative testing strategy that we have been using and has worked amazing for us and our clients. Again, you can see the results on the screen right now. With that being said, every video I offer 10 free consultation calls to my subscribers. This is just a way of me giving back to you guys for subscribing to the channel. So all you have to do is like this video, click the subscribe button and click the first link in the description. Go to my calendar. On the calendar, if you see a free spot, book a free spot with me. We'll hop on a call. On the call, we can go over anything and everything you need help with, be it your ad creatives, your ad testing, your store, your conversion rate, whatever you're struggling with. I'll help you with it one-on-one for absolutely free. With that being said, make sure you leave a like, watch till the end, and let's jump right into it. So the first step to testing ad creative successfully in order to find winning ad creatives and therefore build and run successful ads is to figure out what you're testing. This is what I mean. The biggest mistake most people make when it comes to running testing ads for your ad creatives is they end up testing too many things at once. What I mean by this is you're testing too many components of a single ad creative. Therefore, it makes it harder for you to figure out, backed by data, what's working and what's not, which is why you never end up finding a winning ad creative. So this is what I want you to do. Every time you test a new ad creative, test only one single element. So for example, test 3 ad creatives where the only variation is going to be the hook. The only change in all 3 of the ad creatives that you test is going to be the hook of each ad creative. This way, you can test which hook works the best and then, backed by data, choose the hook that works the best. So what you're going to do is simply change the hook. Everything else stays the same. This will allow you to figure out what hook works the best, and I want you to do this for each element of the ad creative. I want you to do this for the hook, I want you to do this for the ad creative, I want you to do this for the body, the storytelling, the problem element. Every aspect of the ad creative should be tested separately, only one variation at a point. Also, when it comes to testing ad creatives, every week I want you to test 3 to 5 ad variations. Now, how I want you to go about this is I want you to pick your best performing ad creative, then take it and change one single element. Again, for example, either change the hook, change the call to action, or one single element in that ad creative and make 3 variations of that. Again, to make it simple to understand, let's say there's one ad creative that is performing the best. You take it and you want to test different hooks. So you're gonna make 3 different hooks for that same ad creative where you're only changing the first 3 to 5 seconds. And that way you're testing hooks of a winning ad creative. And that is how you find and refine your ad creatives to keep finding winning ad creatives that you keep running for longer term and have successful ads. The next thing I want to cover is setting up the ad creative testing the correct way. This is what I mean. You need to set it up in a certain structure in your ads manager to test it effectively. And this is what I want you to do. What you're going to do is you're either going to be using an ABO or a CBO campaign. If you're not familiar with the terms, ABO is ad set budget optimization, where you set a certain budget across each ad set. And CBO is campaign budget optimization, where you give the whole campaign a certain budget and Facebook will automatically start spending as it sees fit across all ad sets in that campaign. So you're going to pick one of the 2. It doesn't really matter. The next thing is you're going to have one ad creative per ad set. Again, this is very important so you understand and test each creative properly. The next thing is you want to keep your audience targeting, your placements and optimizations identical. So across each ad, the only variation is going to be the ad creative, the ad testing, the placements, the interest, everything else is going to be the same. And then I want you to let it run for 3 to 4 days with enough budget to gather clean data. Now, this budget will vary depending on how much money you're comfortable spending. It could be anywhere from $10 a day to about $50 a day. That is a good spot to test and gather enough ad data to figure out what works and what doesn't. Also, while you set it up, make sure you do not turn on dynamic creative testing. You don't want to give Facebook the freedom of making changes to the ad creatives. You want to stick to the ad creatives that you give it. Now that you have a campaign, you're running your ads, I want you to look at these 6 metrics. These are the only metrics I want you to look at to figure out if an ad creative is a winning creative or not. The first ad metric is going to be your cost per purchase, and you want to keep it very simple. You want to ask yourself, are you actually profitable or at least break even? If you're losing money, you're going to stop running the ad. If you're breaking even, you can let it run for 1 to 2 more days. But if you're profitable, that is a good sign. The next metric is going to be your click-through rate. This is how many people are actually clicking on your ad, and this will show you how compelling your ad creative message is in making people take an action. The third metric that is very important that you want to look at to figure out if the ad creative is doing well or not is your cost per click. The lower your cost per click, the better it is, which means the ad creative is performing well and doing its job in having people click more often than not. The next metric you want to look at is the hook rate. You want to figure out what the hook rate of the ad creative is, which means what percentage of people are watching more than 3 seconds. So if the hook rate is high, that means your hook is on point and it is having people stop scrolling and watching the rest of the video. The next 5th metric that you want to look at is the hold rate, and the hold rate is basically your watch time of the ad. The 6th metric is going to be your conversion rate, the most important out of them all, to see if people are actually viewing it and turning into sales. So those are the 6 metrics that I want you to look at. Now, if you're wondering how do I figure out the hook rate and the hold rate, I know Facebook doesn't natively show you how to find these, so I'm going to tell you exactly how to look for them. So this is how you're going to calculate your hook rate, your hold rate, and your conversion rate just from the ads. For the hook rate, the formula is very simple. You take your 3-second views, divide it by impressions, and then multiply it by 100. This will tell you how good your hook was. For the hold rate, you're going to take 25% video views, divide it by 3-second views, and then multiply it by 100. That is your hold rate. For your conversion rate, you're going to take your purchases, you're going to divide it by landing page views, and then you'll multiply it by 100. And that is your conversion rate through the ad metrics itself. So these are the 3 metrics, the custom metrics that I want you to look at, and this is exactly how you find them. Now you can track these manually on a Google Sheet or whatever you find to be more convenient, but I want you to make sure you keep track of these metrics because these will help you decide whether an ad creative is a winning ad creative or not, therefore save you a lot of money and help you spend money on ad creatives that will actually get you more sales. Now these are the metrics that I want you to look at. Now let's go over how to analyze and pick a winning ad creative, and this is very important. So to make it easy for you guys to understand, I'm going to give you 2 examples of ads and certain metrics. The first ad, the hook rate is 21%. The click-through rate is 2.4%. The cost per click is $1.70. The hold rate 19% and conversion rate is 2% along with a cost per purchase of $60. So that is ad number 1. Now for ad number 2, the hook rate 32%, which is higher than ad 1. The click-through rate is 3.2%, which is again higher than ad 1. The cost per click is $1.40, which is lower than the ad number 1, which is good. And the hold rate for ad number 2 is 23% compared to the 19% of ad number 1. And the conversion rate for ad number 2 is 2.4% compared to the 2% for ad number 1. And the cost per acquisition is $44 compared to the $60 for ad number 1. In this, you can clearly see ad 2 is a winner. And the only main difference in these 2 examples is the first 3 seconds. And this is why I want you to understand how important your first 3 seconds, therefore your hook is. If your hook sucks, the rest of the ad creative, ad video doesn't really matter. So focus a lot on your hook. Now to help you guys further, I'm going to give you a few troubleshooting tips to fix your ad creatives in case you're not seeing the right performance metrics. So if you have a low hook rate, your first 3 seconds are weak, you want to test better hook for the first 3 seconds of your ad creatives. If your click-through rate is low but your hook rate is good, that means people watched your ad but they didn't click, and that means your offer, therefore whatever your call to action and your offer on the ad is not best. You want to change it up and try something better. If you have a high click-through rate but you have a low conversion rate, that usually means your product page or your price is the issue. So work on those and fix on that. And the 4th troubleshooting tip is if you have a low CPC, which is cost per click, but you have a high cost per purchase, you're getting cheap traffic, but it's not converting. And that means the audience that you're targeting is the issue. So those are 4 instances that you might face and how to fix them. You want to diagnose each part of your ad by looking at the metric and then make changes according to what the problem in the funnel might be. Sometimes it might not be your ad creative, but your product page or your product pricing. So make sure you look at the metrics and then make decisions based off of data. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the creative ad testing strategy that we have used, and I've been running ads for 7 years. We've worked with 500 clients, made them hundreds of thousands of dollars, have repeated multiple times. As you can see the results on the screen right now. And this is exactly how we do our creative ad testing. I'm giving it away to you for absolutely free, so make sure you take advantage of it. Also, like I mentioned at the start of this video, I'm offering 10 free consultation calls to my subscribers. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the first link in the description. Go to my calendar, book a free spot on the call. We can go your ad creatives, your ad strategy, your marketing, your store, whatever you're struggling with. I'll help you with it one-on-one. With that being said, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you leave a comment if you have any questions or you have any recommendations for future videos. And also check out other videos on the channel. I'm sure it'll help you with your store and your marketing. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.